about safe driving behavior and how you get ready to pass your test, and also how do you get ready to get on the road. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Let's go ahead and get it. Safe driving behavior starts with number one, putting on your seatbelt when you get into the car. This shows your instructor as well as your road tester that you understand safety is about. Your seatbelt is the only device that will secure you and hold you in the car in case of a rollover crash. Rollover crashes are very dangerous. The first most dangerous crash is a head-on collision. You need to avoid head-on collisions at whatever cost you can. If you have to sideswipe, you sideswipe. There are 4 crumple zones. There is the right front passenger, the left front driver, the rear right passenger, and the rear left passenger. These areas are designed to crumple in case you get hit in an accident. Most cars today are designed to fold up and protect the occupants inside, so your seatbelt is very valuable. Next, you want to maintain proper speeds at all times. Speed does kill, but what you need to think of is, how can I control my car to have the best outcome? The best outcome could simply be no contact. The worst outcome could be you hit a car and then your car rolls over into a ditch. Speed control is one of the least understood things when it comes to beginning drivers. When the light turns green, a lot of beginning drivers are very slow at pushing the gas. So if you can imagine people walking at a decent pace and then you walk slower. So as a result, when a light turns green, most experienced drivers push the gas pedal and the car takes off. 0, 5, 7, 12. A beginner might push the gas pedal to 4, 6. They're very slow. And then what happens, your beginning drivers end up chasing the cars and speeding. So when I get an adult or teen in the car, I teach them to have good speed control. You want to use the ball of your foot. I'm not sponsored by Converse, but Converse are very good shoes because you can pivot your foot between gas and brake. You never want to hit the gas really hard because the car will take off. You'll lose points. You could lose control. And a lot of times beginners, when they hit the gas, they overturn. The car will squat down and the front end will raise up. It is very terrifying, let me tell you. So you want to be gentle on the gas and take your time. Here's another safe driving behavior that I need you to understand. Do you maintain safe following distance? It's about 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, and 1003. Safe following distance allow you to see things ahead of you, behind you, and near you. You have to learn following distance. You want to pick a stationary object. It could be a street sign. It could be a building. Once the car in front of you passes it, 1001, 1002, 1003. That is the minimum following distance that I want you to have. Be safe. Keep good following distance. Here's another thing I need you to remember for safe driving behaviors. Demonstrates proper use of mirrors. Your mirrors allow you to see. Your center mirror is in the center. It's glued to your dashboard. So you want to frame that rear window in the mirror just like I'm looking. And then you have a driver's side to your left and a passenger side to your right. You want to have your mirror slightly outside. You want to be able to see the side of the car. So when you're driving, you quickly glance, you look. And if you're making a lane change, say I'm making a lane change to the left, it's mirror, center mirror, side mirror, turn signal, blind spot. You have to look over your shoulder. You have to look and see. Your road tester wants to see this. Me as your instructor, I want to see this so you feel comfortable. The problem is a lot of beginners are really tense. They squeeze the wheel, and when they try to turn, they end up turning the whole body, and you see what happens. And on the expressway, this can be very scary. So I try to teach you to not squeeze the wheel so hard, to take your time. Being comfortable, being relaxed is very important. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. Identifies and understands and responds appropriately to traffic signs and signals. When you see a yellow light, do you speed up? That's not appropriate. If you can stop in 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, and 1003, you need to stop safely. The most common type of collision for new drivers and motorists is a rear-end collision. And in most states and provinces around the country, if you hit someone, you're at fault. So we want you, meaning I'm your instructor, I want you to slow down, drive with good speed, good space, and a smile. Smiling is really important because it keeps you relaxed, even though you might be terrified. Red lights, every now and then there's a pop-up red light. You want to squeeze your brakes, you never want to slam. On your road test, if you run a red light, it is automatic failure. So you want to be mindful, you want to have good speed control, you want to take your time. Your road tester, your instructor, your guardian should never rush you. If you're rushed, reach out to me, I can give you support. Let's continue. Yield to pedestrians. Pedestrians are unique. They always have the right of way. I'm going to give you some examples. If there's no sidewalk, pedestrians can walk against traffic. You should be able to see them. You never want to turn your back if you're a pedestrian out walking. If you have a sidewalk as a pedestrian, you must walk on the sidewalk. Pedestrians usually get hit in unexpected places. Parking lots where you're backing out. Hopefully looking over your shoulder, you put it in reverse, you do have a backup camera, and then I need you to look over your shoulder. Look over your shoulder as you're backing up. I do some drills. Next, pedestrians in downtown areas. They will walk on a red light. You as a driver need to be scanning Chicago, Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. You have to be cautious, be aware. Also, other vulnerable road users are bicyclists. There are multiple types of situations. The first situation is you're driving along and you have to park. This is something called the Dutch, D-U-T-C-H, reach, R-E-A-C-H. Literally, you're getting your right hand, opening your door instead of using your left. Because if you don't look, you're going to open your door. It's called dooring, and a bicyclist flips over your bike. Your bike flips over the car door, and now you have a person with concussion, knocked out front teeth, skint up, maybe a broken arm. I have to tell you a story. A couple months ago, one of my students' parents, she's an avid bike rider, $2,000 bike, helmet, gear. She said, I got hit by a motorist. I'm like, what happened? She was riding in the downtown area. Someone didn't do the Dutch reach. The door hit her. She flipped over. She dislocated her shoulder. She had scratches on her chin. I said, are you okay? She said, yes, I have my helmet on. I have my gloves on. So we want to be mindful when we are driving. Two of the things for when you're driving with bicyclists. When you come into an intersection, I need you to look left, right, and left. You're checking for cars that could run lights. More importantly, there's something called a right hook. This is where you turn right and a bicyclist is in your blind spot. You fail to look, you just hit a bicyclist. I'm going to say hit, we're not going to run them over, but they get hit. So you have to be mindful. Now imagine you're in a car with me. I need you to make a left turn. You look, you check traffic, you make that left. There is the left cross. You just struck a bicyclist. So what do I need you to do? I need you to actively look. If you've seen some of my content, and most of you have, you need to subscribe. I talk about the dangers of bicyclists, motorists, passengers. There are 3 categories of vulnerable road users: bicyclists, children, and the elderly. We, as instructors, me teaching you, you need to learn to be safe. Bicyclists have a right to the full lane. They should be riding with the flow of the traffic. They should never be riding against the flow of the traffic, because we as motorists don't expect someone to be going 25 or 30 on a bike. So be mindful. Let's continue talking about this information, help you become a better driver. Demonstrates the ability to select the proper gap. If you really want to become a good driver, you have to work at it. But I don't have a car. My mom and dad get home late. They only have one vehicle. I know it was difficult. I was where you were at one time. I saved my money. I bought a $200 car. It was a 72 Chevy Malibu, light blue, like my shirt. I paid for that car. I love that car, and it was my piece of junk. But I learned how to drive. I only had one car. My parents were not going to give me a car. I had to save my money. And for about a month and a half in the summer, I was scared to bring it home. I'm telling you a true story. Why were you scared? It was a piece of junk. I was scared what my dad was going to say, what my mom was going to say. So I kept the car at my friend's house 3 blocks away. And at the end of the summer, I said, I'm just going to drive it home. And my dad came home. What's that piece of junk doing in the front yard? I said, it's my piece of junk. Boy, move that car. So he looked at my car. I was so scared. My heart was beating. But I learned responsibility. And it takes personal responsibility to learn how to drive. You got to learn how to check your oil, put on windshield wipers, do those maintenance items. I'm going to tell you a few more things. So another thing I need to tell you is that effectively manages risk. The light just changed. You're in the middle of the intersection. You proceed with caution. You got to look left and right, watching for pedestrians, people running lights, people riding scooters. You have to be that defensive driver. Good drivers anticipate, okay, I'm coming through an intersection. I want to start looking before I get here. I want to see who's behind me. There's a guy in a Mustang. There's a semi-truck. I don't want to slam my brakes. I want to give them time to slow down. There's so much you have to watch. And the environment around you shouldn't dictate how you drive. If it's rush hour, people are running lights. They're tired. They're hungry. They got to go to the bathroom. They got to get food. In the morning, people are halfway asleep. They're tired. Early afternoon, it's okay. But between 2 and 5, if you are a teen or early 20s, you're in college, you're in high school, that is the most dangerous time, 2 to 5 p.m. We have a lot of inexperienced drivers, less than 10 years. An experienced driver is considered one that has 10 years. 0 to 5, you're intermediate. You're going to learn about snow, rain, fog, hail, black ice, heavy volumes of traffic, downtown Detroit, downtown Chicago, Indiana, Chicago. You have to know how to drive smart, and you can't let someone trigger you. Someone accidentally cut you off, you feel violated, you feel angry, we all do. But you have to learn to take a step back. And that's where the true experience comes in for you as a driver. Let's talk about entering curves. A lot of beginning drivers go too fast. You're going to end up spinning out and overcorrect the wheel. Ask me how I know. I've had students spin out and we ended up in the ditch because they came into the curve too fast. If the lane merges in sign is to the right, I used to think when I first started teaching driver's ed, my student can handle this. They know what to do. No, they don't. Get over early. People will cut you off. They will wait till the last second, and it's my job to make you feel safe, feel secure, to support you. And I take my job seriously. I'm very passionate. I have a good sense of humor, and I want to say thank you. If this brought you value, give it a thumbs up. I will be on tomorrow at about 12, and we'll talk more. Bye, guys. Be a safe driver.